toward the conclusion of Who Am I by the Maharshi, Sri Bhagavan declares that inquiring into the nature of the one who is as bound is itself release. In the concluding verses of Advaita Bhuti, Shankara, after describing with great emphasis the utter identity of the Self and Brahman, of Jiva and Shiva, says, only one who strives has this knowledge, not another. Who is it that strives? What is the nature of the one who strives? Obviously, it is one who strives spiritually, who destroys ignorance, who discriminates between the real and the unreal, the self and the not-self, who cuts to pieces the illusory bondage, who relinquishes attachment, who does away with any kind of misidentification. What is the nature, though, of that one who strives, who does away with the mixing up of the real and the unreal? It is quite evident that it is ignorance alone that is the cause of bondage and its consequent suffering. It is equally obvious that self-knowledge alone destroys ignorance. So that the real is no longer taken to be unreal, and the unreal is no longer taken to be real. In other words, who does away with veiling, avarana, and vikshepa, the projection of multiplicity through delusion. Who has the power to destroy bondage? If inquiring into the one who is bound is release, this says something about the nature of the one who appears as if bound. For if he were really bound, at no point could he do away with his bondage. If it was inherent in him to suffer, at no point could he do away with suffering. But one who strives for liberation from the imagined bondage does do away with ignorance, does do away with bondage, does eliminate suffering, so that his real nature of Satchidananda, being consciousness bliss, stands shining, self-revealed. He could not do so if he were innately bound or innately ignorant. The capacity to know, to be free, must already be there. Not only must it be there in potential, but it must be there entirely. Put the question to yourself, who is the one who strives? Can he be the body? Can he be the mind? What is your own nature? If you know the truth that you are not the body, then that which knows must be utterly bodiless. Not only is it now bodiless, but that which you are has always been bodiless. And if you can set yourself free from the bondage of the mind, ceasing to misidentify with what is merely an idea or a thought, then that which so disidentifies must already be beyond thought to begin with. Inquire within yourself as to your bodiless, mind-transcendent nature. Who are you? Shankara said that one who strives realizes, but not another. Who is another? The ostensible meaning is someone who does not practice. That much is self-evident. But considered more internally, not another refers to all that you are not. The body does not realize the truth, it is inert. The mind similarly, having no knowing ability of its own, does not realize truth. What realizes the truth of the self? If you would seek the nature of the one who strives to know the self, right there is self-knowledge. The self being non-ego by nature, infinite and eternal, uncaused and utterly formless, is not realized by an individual, which after all is but a vague assumption with no reality, a mere supposition born out of imagination. Imagination does not realize the truth. An ego or individual does not become self-realized. There are no self-realized individuals. There is the self, which is itself realization, and one who realizes that is that, with no trace of individuality remaining. Therefore, strive to know yourself. Inquire within yourself, just as the Maharshi has instructed. Who am I? Abandon the tendency to misidentify with anything objective. That is, with anything that is not actually the consciousness itself. Abandon the tendency to misidentify with anything that has form, that has birth or death. That is anything other than the quintessential being. If you find being, you have found consciousness, and the consciousness and being are identical. The same holds true with bliss. Where being is, there is bliss. Inquire and know yourself as you truly are. This is striving. This is also the culmination of striving and the end of all striving.